All right, I'm in the 2020 Community Cup. I'm on the back nine in the opening round. I'm going to shoot this section here, and this is a practice round. It's my last full practice round before I get into my 77 account. And even though I will still be practicing in my 77 account, like this account, I'm like total practice. So I mean, whatever happens, happens. It is my practice account. So like I looked at the scores before. Now we got a few more people that have played. So the 26s, that minimum score is down to 38 right now. And so we've got 12 spots getting down to 50. I really think that we're going to get down in this bracket so that it's going to be 26s and there may be a 26 or so that didn't make it. Or some of those 26 aren't going to make it. And right here is a great example. We got 3 people at minus 15 after 9. So there's 3 dropping it down. And we've got some other people up here that are going to knock that down. I'm sure when we get done, we're going to see 26s. I'm pretty sure we're going to see 26 that didn't make it. And already at the top, we've got another 32. So just in the top 4, 30 plus, and we still have people that haven't got up there yet. So the top 10 is going to be dominated. There's probably going to be a few 29s that aren't in the top 10, but I think the top 10 is going to be pretty dominated by 30 plus, maybe 1 or 2 29s that were in the top 10, but it's going to be close. I think everybody in the top 10 is probably going to be close to 30 once everybody gets through their this opening round. So looking at like minimum scores, like the minimum score of minus 13 might get you to the weekend round, but the next bracket that's tied in with this one, that means every single person in the bracket shot the minimum score minus 13. So if you're trying to get up to the top, you're going to have to shoot a monster score, big scores. So you got to be on your game. I'm going to shoot these, like I said, I'm going to shoot these in just a 9-row set, and I won't break it up. So let's just get on it. Hole number 1. I'll tilt my tablet here so I got a little bit. Hole number 1. Hole number 1 is, where am I at here? Hole number 2, Eagle Peak. Just look at it. All right, the par 3. I know if you watch my stuff, I always look at the hole, even when I'm not. I always look at the hole to refamiliarize myself with it before I get on the hole. I just find for myself it's just much easier if I know what I'm dealing with and I don't get it confused. It's not as bad now because we have multiple bags, so you can kind of recover. But back in the days when you only had, or if you're in a clan that only has one bag, if you miss, you think, oh yeah, it was this hole, and then you get out there and go, damn it, I was thinking of the wrong hole. You're in a spot of you might be in a spot of bother. All right, so I'm taking a sniper and a katana. Right, let's get back in the game. What the heck was I doing? Sniper, katana. And in this bag, in this count, I only have one bag because we started up a new clan and we're trying to get it up. It'll be up next season. It'll have 2 bags, but right now it only has 1. So you've got to make the right choices. 30% wind adjustment, max right hand side spin, quarter top spin, and I'm doing just a slight bit over a quarter towards a third, maybe even a half, because I've ended up just short of the hole several times. I'm right on it. If I hit this perfect, the sucker's going in the hole. And if it didn't go in the hole, it was right on there. So takes perfect shot here to get in the cup. That's what we're looking for, is perfect shot. On the front 9, I didn't play the front 9 super well. Ended up at the minus 15. The deal is I got the minimum score was like with my eyes closed, but like trying to pick up shots, I didn't hit any of the shots until like towards the end. I wasn't hitting any of the shots going into the cup. I put myself in the right spot, but I wasn't hitting of them perfect. And so I didn't get any extra pickups on the front other than the Albie on hole number 9. Shooting the minimum score and picking up an Albie on hole number 9, bam, you're at minus 15, you're at minus 30, and now you're in the hunt. You know, you're just a little off. Okay, 30% wind adjustment, 1 per ring. So we're going to do a 3.9 pool. 3.9. A couple rings off. Maximum and about half. I'm going to move it up so that I'm going right at the cup. want that ball guide. I want that ball guide going right there. 3.9 rings. Almost 4. Right back to the red line. I'll have to short shoot it just a titch. I don't have any of the low wind balls, so I'll have to just slightly short shoot it. Hitting it perfect. Give myself a look at it. Get in the hole. It's all about distance there. I shouldn't have short shot it. What was I thinking? That's the deal here is that we're right there at that red line to funnel it up towards the cup. And if I had a lower wind ball, like a 5-wind ball, this is one of those ones. They just had some of the two power. I think they had some that were 2 power 1 side spin 5-wind, and they had some that were 2 power 3 side spin 4-wind. Those balls would definitely come in handy. In the qualifying round, the wind was lower and I wasn't hitting the red line, but that's just the deal. I am right there at it. I'm going to get a hole-in-one on this hole this week. It's going to happen. Getting the birdie, moving along. I will forfeit. I went back and watched on the front. I made a change on hole number 2 on the front because I'm trying to get, and I ended up with a shorter putt, which was goal number 1, but I keep moving farther out from that rough to give myself more breathing room from the rough, and it still ends up being right there. I started the week off, I was 2 rings off the transitional surface, and now I'm 4 rings off the transitional surface. So you'd think that I'd be a couple rings off of that rough there, and I'm still like right there at it. Okay, that was hole number 1. Hole number 2. Hole number 2 is hole number 8. All right. I'm going to be at the +1. I changed that because I moved off a little and I moved out a little, and so I shortened that up. So I'm at the +1 instead of the +2, and I'm my clear ring off instead of my blue ring off. Because I keep moving out, trying to give myself more room down at the bottom. The only club I'm going to need there is that and a katana. And I'm doing a 20% wind adjustment. Actually, I think I'm going to do a 30% wind adjustment. That'll be 4.3 rings. I'm using a calculator here because my brain's not functioning today. Didn't have enough coffee. Where's that? There's that plus. There's the plus. There's +1. +1. Right at the +1. Doing a 3-point. I'm doing a 4-ring pull. So I'm doing a 30% wind adjustment. Putting on max backspin and however much side spin I can get on there and stay at the max backspin. Big shot. Max power or max curl. Hit it 1 ring great on the inside, 1 ring great to the left. And that's reflected out on the hole right there. If you hit to the left like that, you get caught up and you're going to stick. It's not going to roll back down to the cup. The deal is that I've moved further back. Like I said, I was on my orange ring, so I was closer. And I moved further back so that I end up coming in closer to the transitional surface down here so that I can shorten up where I'm at to the cup. And this adjustment up here is not, I'm moving it this direction. I'm moving it to the right. And it's not having the desired effect down there at the bottom. I'm going to have to sit down tonight and really look at this hole and think about what I can do. I have to deal with what I have in backspin. And that backspin and that stuff is enough, but just a little bit more. Are they going to roll all the way down? No. Getting it perfect. In the hole. All right. Test number 1. I passed test number 1. Got to get an eagle on hole number 2. Got to get the eagle on hole number 8. For most accounts, especially if you've got a lower developed account, hole number 2 is going to be the harder, the bigger test. And hole number 8 is really all about hitting it perfect. But for this account, hole number 2 is the easier of the tests, and hole number 8 is all about hitting it perfect. Because I don't have anything more than a 3 power ball, and you can get it done with a 3 power ball. But if I had bigger power balls, it would be easier. Easier because I don't have to put on all the topspin, so it's a little bit more controllable. All right, that was hole number 2. Hole number 2 in the books. Hole number 3, hole number 12. So hole number 12 of the 2020 Community Cup. Let's go take a look at it. This is Eagle Peak hole number 3. Eagle Peak hole number 3. This is the par 5. And I am switching this up, and I'm not doing the try and float it back to it. I'm going right at it, and I'm bringing my Saturn. My 77 account, I'll probably use a Grim Reaper, but here I'm using a Saturn. And I'm doing a 10% to the cup. 1.9. You know, the last time I was here, I'm at minimum club, and I did a minimum adjustment. And I did hit it great to the left. I hit it one ring great to the left, but I was like way off to the left. I was like a couple rings off to the left. So I'm going to do a max adjustment here and add 10% and see what that looks like. Still working it. Katana. I'm going to use a Kingmaker. I'm going to use a Titan. Just do the deal. I'll use a Kingmaker in my 77 account, but here I got more Titans. Oh, I don't have to buy some of those. Extra mile. Saturn. And I'm going to switch up one other thing. Now I'll use my sniper. If something happens and I end up in my wood range, then I'll just use that. The deal is we go into these par 5s and we've got this. All right, we're going for Albie. And if you screw up these drives, you could be in such a spot that you just now put your eagle at risk. And so you can easily go from trying to get a -3 to ending up with a -1. So we really do have to focus on these drive shots to make sure we get these drive shots right. Whenever you're doing max overpower, you always take that risk that it could go in the crapper. Let's see here. I'm doing max overpower. I'm out in that area. A couple rings off. It's about a 2-ring pull. Dose. A little bit of curl. Hit 2 rings great to the right. First bounce, this won't have any effect at all, but it's right up here. The fairway kind of kicks out a little, so if you have your trajectory wrong, you could end up riding along that. Actually got good distance right there. 402. That is about as far as I could have hit it forward. That's definitely going to put me in my minimum long iron. So my minimum long iron, the way I play my long iron, that should put me at 3.3 per ring. And I did that earlier and it didn't work out. So it might be like and even the mid number's not that far off from it. So I'm just going to do a full adjustment and see where it ends up. That's why this is called the practice account. The main thing on this account is to get down the minimum score, and then I'm working on the other stuff. If I make it in this account, and I make it, and if I don't, I'm not really too concerned about it. It's all prepping up for my 77 account. So Hornet, do I have any kind of window at all? I do have a little bit of a window with my Hornet, and that's 1.1 per ring right there. I don't know that I can get any closer. It's going to... Hey there, guy. Hey, I'm going to run out of time here dicking around with this. Okay, 1.1, it's 3.3. I'm adding on 10%, so that's going to be 3.8. There's 3.3. There's 5. I'll have to snap it off. Getting it one ring great to the right. Oh, right there. If I'd hit that perfect, it would have did the same thing on the other side of the cup. So the 3-3, and it was what, 3? What did I say? The win was it's 3-3. I added on some, so it was like 5 is what I had left over. It's 1.1 per ring, so it's a little less than half. So I didn't make that bad of a pull, but it was right there. It might have went in on the other side. It might be one of those things where we do the pull and then we add on 0.1. You did just a little bit over to get it to the cup. Or you want to be set up on the right, because the wind's blowing from the right to the left. You actually want to be set up on the right hand side of the cup. Nice shot. Nice shot. The thing about those backspin shots is when they go in, you are jazzed. But the deal is backspin shots are super inconsistent. So getting those backspin shots to go in on a regular basis are, it really is low percentage, even though you're always right there and you have great memories about it. Because when you make it, it's so exciting that it burns into your memory banks. But if you think back on all the times that you were super close and it just missed the deal, really the backspin shots overall are lower percentage than trying to just run it up to the cup. All right, hole number 13. So if you get up there in the 400-yard range, you could get into your short iron range. So that's but there was not a lot of room there. I think in the past on one tournament, I played that hole with a power 4 ball so that I would force myself, even if I was at like 390, I was in my short iron range. So I may in my 77 account, because I'm going to go straight at it and not try and use the backboard, I may bring out a 4 power ball just so that I can force it so that I push that red line and make it so that I'm more apt to be in my short iron. Okay, what are we on? We're on hole number 4. This is Greenwich Point. My favorite tour, my favorite course. Greenwich Point, hole number 1. Hole number 1. This is hole number 1. Get over there. This is that par 3. I did make a change on this, and I'm going to practice this one more time. I did make a change on this, and I am using a Kingmaker. I changed from a Katana to a Kingmaker. That was the only change I made. And I did it so that I could push the ball forward just a little bit so I don't have to deal with any wind adjustments over that sand. Sniper. I know that may sound like a small thing, but anytime you can take any crap over the sand out of play, let's take that stuff out of play. Personal preference. That's what's cool about this is that there's many different ways to play this. It's one of the reasons why I started, one of the many reasons I started shooting videos for this is because, what am I doing on wind adjustment here? I'm doing a 20%. So maximum right hand side spin, about half. Hey, are you going to give me the thing here? Or are you just going to make me work for it? Right in the hole. 3, and I'm doing 20%, so that's going to be 3.6. And even though if you look at the area that I'm moving down here, I'm just like slightly forward from where I was. That slightly forward means that I don't have to deal with any sand distortion for that wind adjustment. Hitting it perfect. Give myself a look. Should get a good read here because I think on the front I didn't hit it perfect. So we should get a good read here as far as trajectory. Oh. I think on a lot of these holes, the deal is if the wind's blowing from the left to the right, we need to be on the left-hand edge of the cup. If the wind's blowing from the right to the left, we need to be on the right-hand side of the cup because it's blowing it off that little teeny bit. Or I need to start adding on 0.1 or 0.2. Just do the adjustment, aim it right at the flagpole, and then like that right there was, what was that? That was 3.6, doing like a 3.8 adjustment instead of 3.6. Just adding on that 0.2 to get me so that it's least back on the cup line right there, just a little off. because we're using a wood here instead of a long iron, the ball guide at the end is as fat as the hole. So my opponent's also using a Kingmaker, so they were able to do their wind adjustment in front of the sand. See if they got their stuff right. And I know that little ball change, yeah, that was, I know that little ball change doesn't seem like a lot, but for me, that's just one less thing I have to worry about that sand, because if the wind, the wind was blowing in one direction, like it was like a 3 mile an hour wind, I was like literally in the sand trying to do the wind adjustment. So I was looking at the ball at the rings on the left-hand side of the sand, and then trying to make my adjustment based off of where the rings weren't distorted. And then if it was a bigger wind, I had to go through the sand, and I was actually leaving like my bullseye in the sand, and I find that affects the ball if you start off in the sand like that. So small things could make a big difference. Right there, feel good. Am I going to get some drops on these holes this week? You bet. Have I got them yet? Hell no. Am I too concerned about it? No, because I'm going to get them. They're going to happen. All right, that was hole 13. Hole 14, Community Cup opening round. Hole 14, 2020. Hole 14 is hole number 4 of Greenock Point. This is the par 5. This is the par 5 right here. In the order of the holes that I'm looking to get the minus 14. That's the minimum score. And then I'm trying to pick up 3 per side. So the 3 that I'm trying to pick up in order of these are the holes I want to pick up those shots on, that I need to pick up those shots on. Hole number 5, I need to pick up the shot. Hole number 9, I need to pick up that Albie. Plus, that gives great tiebreakers because you have an Albie on your board. I know a lot of people out there shooting multiple Albies, but just having an Albie does help. The hole number 5, number 1. Hole number 9, number 2. Hole number 1 is really becoming hole number 3, and so there's other chances out here. But this is one of those holes that we have to that like we really, if we're going to capitalize on a hole and really pick a shot up, this hole right here is a hole that we want to give ourselves the best opportunity. And I was on the front, I didn't hit it perfect going into the cup. It was right there. And that's the deal, is on these holes is you can put yourself in the right spot, you can make all the right adjustments, you can do everything right, and you don't hit it perfect into the cup, it ain't going in the hole. Because if you did all the other stuff right, it ain't going in the hole. Kingmaker. How many of those I got left? 1. Uno. Off we go. Rocking it out. This is one shot at a time. You got to get the drive where you want it. You get the drive into the area. I actually overshot the drive on the front, and was right there at the limit of my short iron. Or did I end? I actually ended up taking it with my wedge. Maybe I took it with my wedge. Can't remember, but I know I was right there. I think I ended up. I think I ended up taking it with my wedge. Yeah, in that area right there. I'm going to leave the wind in. $7,000 rings great to the right. My deal here is it'll clip the rough and roll out there. And that's going to put me probably more towards max short iron. 397, I'm looking for 420. 420, I was right at minimum short iron. 397, I'm probably going to be right at min or max short iron. I might actually be in a transitional point between my long iron. That's why I brought a backspin club for my long iron, just in case I hit into an area like that. But I might be, let's see, short iron goes from, short iron starts, yeah, I might be in my long, I might be right at minimum or maximum short iron. It's gonna be close. I know at 420 you're in a good spot as far as minimum short iron, so I might be right at max. 10% to the cup. Where is my max? Okay, where is my min? Minimum's way the heck back here. There's min. There's mid. There's max. So we're eking towards mid. 1.9 per ring is how I play it at mid. Dialing it up to the cup. 10% wind adjustment, that's 3.8. It's 3.8, that's 4.1, let's say 4.2. I'm at mid club, it's 1.9, so there's 4 and a little. You just snap this off and hit it perfect. Oh, and I blew that like totally. I'm getting a little lag right there. I waited. I uploaded the videos from the front, so I had them separated out. But I got a little laggy right there. I think my wife is up, and she's probably dicking around and watching Netflix and playing around on her stuff at the same time, so might not have a strong connection at the house. That was not the shot that I was looking for there. Once again, it's the hitting it in. It doesn't matter where you're at out there in the field. If you're not hitting it absolutely perfect coming into the cup, you're just not going to make those shots. Was I in the spot that I've been practicing for all week where I'm in my minimum short iron? No, but that's no excuse. I've played this game long enough that you're playing one-on-one and you end up out there. And I played this hole with a Marlin in one-on-one, and I don't normally do, depending on the wind, I don't normally do the shot down there with the Marlin. I'll go to the left-hand side. That's the safe play. Gotten a lot of eagles on this hole, but especially in tournaments, because you can come out here with a Hornet from that angle and go at it. Probably should go eat too. My hands are starting to shake, I think. Wouldn't be too good a surgeon right now. Getting a little bit of vibration in my hands. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock, and I haven't eaten anything all day, but I've had 3 cups of coffee, so that's a bonus. See if they can get it in the cup from there. I'm a big fan of putting my tail through the hole when you shoot these putts, but I'm not a big fan of putting it too far through the cup because it may bounce over. And I've had that happen where you're just like that close and you have the tail out that far. And it's like, especially when you're using a big power ball like a Berserker or something, I want the tail to be through the hole so I can see it on the other side, but I don't want to be much farther because I have had Berserkers bounce over the hole on really short putts like that. My hand's been burned. All right, that was hole 14. Good luck. Next shot. Hole 14. We're on hole 15. 2020 Community Cup. Opening round. Hole 15. Hole number 7. Greenwich Point. Hole number 7. All right, I'm coming at this a little bit different. And I kind of like this spot from out here. I'm going to bring out my calculator because these minus, anytime I'm dealing with a 0.5, I'm going to do a 25% wind adjustment. A minus 25. I'll bring my trusty dusty calculator out, so it's 0.75 times. Okay, where are we at? I'm bringing a extra mile. I don't want to buy any kingmakers here, so I'm going to leave the extra mile. I'm going to go with a sniper just in case. I'm going to go with my Grizzly. 100% accurate club, good ball guide. I'm going with the Titan, the king of balls. All right, off we go. Titan. I would recommend using a kingmaker on this just because you're trying to cut the wind down on the second shot. It'll make it easier. Won't really make that big of a difference on the drive. We're not using the wind here. We're taking the wind out on both shots. So anytime you're taking the wind out on both shots, a kingmaker is probably the better deal. Anytime you're using the wind, a Titan's probably a better deal. Just depending on how much wind you're using. So last time we were on this hole, the wind here was like a 2 something. Here it's a 4.5. So if you leave the wind in just from the front to the back, we've got a 2 mile an hour difference. You could end up in a spot of bother if you leave that wind in, expecting, especially if you're way up at the front and you're pushing the limits up there, you could end up rolling off into the rough. So on these types of layup shots, it's always better if you can to take the wind out, in my opinion. Give myself a little bit of room. I'm going to do like a 10% pull. So that's 4-1. I'm going to do like a 4-5. There's 4-2. So we're just a little over a couple rings. I'll put just a little bit of curl just to bring it around. Not too much because there's a freaking tree right there to the right. Isn't it perfect? And you could put a little bit more than that, but if you start putting a lot of curl on it, that tree is going to bite you. Just trying to float it up. That's the spot I'm looking for. That's about as much as I can get without having to do something strange. It gives me a slightly different, I'm on this side of the sand trap coming in. It gives me a slightly different look at it from this side. And I'm not sure that this makes any difference, but I've been trying this week. We don't play this. We don't get this hole in tournaments. We used to get it in tournaments. This hole was in some tournaments like for a while, but then it's been a long time since we've had this hole in tournaments. So just going out there, and at some point, like maybe the last tournament or the last couple tournaments ago that this was in there, they redesigned the green here, and the green plays a little bit different. So just looking at it, just giving it a look. No harm. So I'm doing a max wind adjustment, which is 1 per ring, and I'm taking 25% off. So first thing here, 3.6 equals 2.7 rings. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm 3 rings off, blue ring off. I'm going to go right to the left-hand edge of the cup. So I'm doing a 2.7 pull. 2.7. There's 2.5. There's 2.7. I need to quit doing that. Oh, you rat bastard. I need to quit pulling to the center because I'm so used to doing that on the take shot. What I need to do, in the hole. So I hit a great to the right, so that means I didn't pull it enough. I changed it. I was at minus 20%, and I changed to minus 25, so minus 25 might be too little. All right, in the hole. Albie. Woo! First Albie on that hole this week, and it was the first Albie on this hole this week, and I hit it great to the right. So on the up to this point, I've been doing minus 20%, and I've been right off, like I haven't been taking. I've been like, here's the cup, and I've been right on this side right here. So is it on that side? No, I've been off to the point where I thought I needed to add on another 5% and make it. I'm getting like lag here. That's why the pin's doing the thing. I'm getting lag while I'm sitting still. You can see the game's lagging. I will take it. As the motto from last week says, if you can't be good, be lucky. And let's see if we can eliminate some of this. Let's turn that off, and let's refire up the game. I had the game sitting here for a while, and I was doing some other stuff. And let's refire it up and see if we can get rid of this potential lag, maybe. Can't be good, be lucky. That's the deal. Now, some people out there would go, hey, I got that Albie. And when they get to a hole and they go, oh, crap, I dropped the shot. Okay, all right. That's all right. It's okay. I'm still on track because I picked up that Albie. You can't think that way. And the reality is if you drop a shot, that's the reality is that that's what happened. You'll have to use that Albie to make up for what you just dropped. But the deal is you don't want to think that way. Everything that you've shot up to this point, you need to take out of your memory banks and act like the hole you're on is the only hole in the game. And you've got to shoot the minimum on it because you don't want to have to use any of the shots that you picked up to cover your butt for a shot that you dropped. So the whole deal is that if I can go to hole number 9, if I go to hole number 8 and get the eagle, and I go to hole number 9 and get the albie again, then I'm shooting 31, and that's my goal. My goal on my 77 account is to shoot a 32 in the opener, just to prep me up, get me in the right spot so that I can go out in the weekend round and try and get a minus 34 or better. Hole number 16. Let's go check out hole number 16, 2020 Community Cup opening round. Hole number 16 is going to be Namhi Cliffs. Hole number 6. And this hole right here is definitely pissing me off. All right. Play that way. Hole number 6. I keep ending up to the right of the cup. Now, let's see, I've got a Marlin. I don't have anything I can use other than a Marlin unless I want to switch up to a 1 power ball. So I'm going to change where I'm set up, because what's happening here is I band down and I'm over in this area with my Grizzly, so it's 100% accurate. I got my white ring on the transitional surface, and I've been putting on about 2.5 backspin. And my distance is okay. I think I'm a little short, but my distance, it's hard to tell because I'm rolling off to the right. But I think my distance is all right. And I've been putting on the max left-hand side spin to straighten it out, bring it to the cup, and the wind is blowing. Wind's blowing this direction, and I was doing a 30% wind adjustment, and I was ending up to the right, and I was ending up to the right, and I was ending up to the right. So I did a 40% wind adjustment. So I'm pulling the ball further this way to try and make up this distance that I'm off to the right, and I did a 40% on the front. I hit it perfect, and I was in the same dang spot that I've been in before, still to the right of the cup. So I am done with this spot for a minute. I'm going to move to a different spot. I have no idea where. I'm going to wing it, and then I'll go back and watch the video when I'm done and see like whether I epic failed or not. So I'm going to stick with the 30% wind adjustment that I've been doing so far this week, and then I'm just going to pick a different spot and see what happens. Trying to get a little straighter read on it. Marlin. I know in one-on-one play, typically in one-on-one play, because we have varying winds, I do play this in a slightly, it just depends on the wind, but I try to stay away from the far right, because the far right, you're putting that drop on the right-hand side into play. So I tend to come at it either more from the middle or from the left, and I'm going to move towards the middle. I may have to put on more backspin. That's fine. Styles goes first. And part of the thing is that where I'm hitting is on this hill. So if you're on this hill, it can give you a trajectory off one direction or another, especially if you hit a great to the left or the right. You hit a great to the left, you're up the hill farther, and your trajectory can be off. So I'm going to try more in this flat area that's down here. Clear. 0.3 times. I'm going to do a 30% wind adjustment. So first thing, let's figure out how many rings. I'm going to do it at max club, so it's 1 per ring. It's one of the things I like about 100% clubs. It's easy to do the math. Times 3.6. 4.68 rings, about 4.7. And come out more from the middle. Down here where it's flat. Right in that area. So I'm going to do 4.68 rings. There's 4.68. That's absolutely 4.68 right there. It's perfect. Isn't it perfect? I was talking to one of my buddies. He's like, "Oh yeah, but when you do the math by hand and stuff, you don't get that fractional stuff." Dude, you can't get that. Are you telling me that you can determine that you're 4.68 off? And I just did the math in my head, and I was at 4.7. And you're like, "Oh, that what made you miss there was that 0.02." If 0.02 is what made me miss that cut, then we got bigger problems. And that is right there exactly what I'm talking about. I did a max wind adjustment to the left. I hit it perfect. I did a 30% wind adjustment, and I'm still to the damn right of the cup. Now, what I didn't like about that is that I put that, if I'd hit that great to the right, I put that drop on the right-hand side into play. So if I can't figure this out today in this account, and I'm gonna mess around on this hole in my 77 account too and see if I can find a different thing. I may switch to a quasar so I have a little more side spin. I don't know, but I'm working it. I like to work these things out. If you watched my channel and I was like, okay, I watched X person and here's exactly what they did. I have to work this stuff out for myself. It's a process. If I was just regurgitating what everybody else was doing, then why the hell would you watch my channel? I mean, I'm hoping you're watching my channel because we're taking a more critical look at some of this stuff and trying to use our brains to think about, like, why is it doing stuff, and be willing to understand that there's 16 different ways that we can come at it instead of one. A lot of the people out there that shoot Ricky, they only shoot it one time per week just to appease the crowd, and then they go on to expert and masters because that's where they really want to focus their time. And it's like, oh no, I already showed you how to play that Ricky hole. Hey dude, we play Ricky. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of different ways to play it. And as the week goes on, maybe the wind or whatever, we have to progress these things, and we have to look at what clubs we have in our bag, and we have to think critically. You're thinking critically and Ricky and Masters and expert, and you're like, oh, well, you guys don't have to think like that down there. You can just do this shot right here, and it'll always go in the hole. What part of F you are you not understanding? Hole number 4. All right. Hole number 17. This is a test. This is the test hole, and this test is all about perfect shot. Okay, we have to get an eagle on this hole. Have to get an eagle on this hole, and it has to be a perfect shot. It has to be perfect. It has to be, and I'm taking the wind out. It's not going to matter here because I should not have a secondary shot. So, I mean, I have to make a wind adjustment anyways, and that Titan versus a Kingmaker is not going to be the end of the world. But I got to hit a perfect shot here, and I'm doing like half curl, or not half curl, half overpower. So let's just go, because I only have one bag. Let's make sure one more time. Extra mile, yes. Let's just make sure, because if you get out there and you don't have that club, you are SOL. You are in the brown stuff. All right, Travis from Shooter McGavin. Right. It'd probably be helpful if I got in my driver. Probably help if I put the right side spin on it. Around in this area right here. .2. It's about a ring and a half. A ring and a half. Pretty straightforward. Max, overpower. There's half. Hitting it perfect. And now it's all about whether it stops on the green or if it rolls off. It's actually a little short with the roll there. Now, I may have left the wind in last time. Did I leave the wind in last time? I could have swore I took the wind out. I'm pretty sure I took the wind out because I wouldn't have wanted to leave the wind on a shot like this, and because that's a variable from round to round, and it would give me an inconsistent result. So needed a little teeny bit more overpower there. Just a bit. When I pulled it down the ring that's down there, go back and rewind that video, and when I pulled it down the ring that was down there, I was trying to be right on that ring, so I was like counting that as half, and I probably should have went just a little more. Yeah, I still got some work to get done. Oh, I missed it. I missed the eagle on that hole. That is discouraging. That is discouraging. I was getting some lag right there. It was just a little laggy, but that's just my deal on those long putts. You got to hit those long putts perfect. But it was a little jerky right there. Not going to blame that on it. I could have hit that perfect and I didn't. So I failed the test. I got all the way to the end of the course and I failed the test. So I took my A that I had going, and I may get an A minus now, but I took my A plus that I had going, or at least I had a solid A. I didn't have an A plus. I had a solid A going into the class, and now I put my A at risk. I might actually get a B if the instructor wants to be a bonehead. All right. That was the 28 right there. That's a drop shot. So looking for it. It's in my practice account. I'm not too upset about it, but I really would have liked to come in with a minus 30 in this. And that's because when I come into the weekend round in my odd account, I'm still not taking it. I play it first and I'm still practicing. I'm still trying to prep up for my 99 or my 77 account. And coming in, because the deal is that in these brackets, the better in tiebreakers you can come, and you can see where the numbers are. We've got people that are playing, so now we're 28s down to 17. You had any movement on that, especially down here towards the 50s? So we are getting where the 26s are in the 50s now. We're starting to push people out. How many people still have left to play? We still got quite a few people to play here, so I'm pretty sure that there isn't gonna be any non 26s, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some 26s that don't make it. All right, hole number 18. All right, I'm just gonna go look at it. I know what we're dealing with here. But let's go look at it. All right, NC3, Nam High Cliffs, hole number 3. Da 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 da. And what I'm going to need here is an extra mile, a Titan, and a rapier. Hopefully those will be the only things I need. Getting out there. Now I got to get something to eat because my hand is shaking. I haven't eaten since last night at 8 o'clock. So we're 12, 16, 17 hours since I ate, and I drank a bunch of caffeine. So needless to say, I got a little shaky hand. Definitely want to get something to eat before I play my 77 account. I'm probably not going to play it until I may play it this evening. I may try and get 77 and 99 in today, so I don't have anything at all to do tomorrow. But I may play my 77 account tonight and then play 99 tomorrow. I'll post those rounds. If you're having problems on any of these holes, the reason I separate them out, like I normally separate them out, is so that you can get a look at them. If you're just having a problem on one hole, you can go look at that video. Sometimes you can come watch my videos and you can go, wow, that was an epic fail, and you'll know the deal. Or you can make fun of me and go, dude, you should be making this wind adjustment and you're not making it. That's why you keep missing. But depending on where you're laying out in the field, I am not convinced that like the standard, like when people go, hey, we do this wind adjustment, I'm not convinced that that's always true, because it really depends on where you're landing in the field. Wind's pushing me over 2 rings. So it's pushing me over to my orange ring from there. It gives me plenty of room, and I'm aiming towards that marker out there is what I'm looking for. Hit it 1 ring great to the left. The risk here is that it will drag me down there where my opponent was, and I will end up drifting off and falling off into that rough. That should put me somewhere towards max rapier, which is 1.3 per ring, and I'm doing a 10% wind adjustment. Get my calculator going here. 1.1. I would normally just do the math in my head, but like I said, I am freaking starving. My brain's not working. I can't wait till this hole's over so I can get something to eat. Isn't it perfect? Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Nice shot. Now let's see if we can force the shoot out here. It's all boils down to perfect. Three, 6, 3. That's my max, so I'm right at max. Just a little teeny bit of backspin just to whoa it up to the cup. Right up on it. See where that's falling off. It's 3.6 rings. So there's 3, 6. Just need to hit this perfect. Oh, and I hit it great to the left. It'll miss. Great to the left. Great to the left. Think that missed great to the left? If there was any shot in the whole round I needed to hit perfect, it was that one. So I picked up a shot on the back, and then I turned around and dropped the shot because I failed the putt on hole number 8, and then I missed that perfect. So that's the swing right there. I go from minus 29, minus 31 on those last 2 holes to minus 29 with 2 simple mistakes, missing a putt and not catching a perfect on that right there. So that's how your rounds can go. So when people go, yeah, but the guys up at the top are 6 shots ahead of me, you can go back and look at the rounds, and really there's just like 2 or 3 holes that if you'd have got the swing that you made on those holes, you're not that far off. You're just a couple drops off from being up there. If you don't do those drops, you get those drops on hole number 8, you don't miss that putt. That was a 2-shot swing. So that's huge in your end score. All right, that was practice. Good practice round. That will easily get me into the weekend round. No big worries there. As far as tiebreakers go, by the time this is done, I'll probably somewhere in the top 10, but closer. I think I'm probably going to be towards 8th or 9th coming in. So if you think about an X bracket, if we had this same exact bracket and they melded us together to make a weekend bracket, I'm probably looking at somewhere in the top 20 in tiebreakers, which is not good because of the scores that are at the top. We're talking about I'd have to outshoot everybody in my bracket, which means that I'm definitely going to have to be in the 34 plus range in order to outshoot everybody. But that's not a bad deal. With my 77 account, I really want to come into the weekend round and I want to be up here at the top. I came in with a minus 15 with an Albie. That put me at the top of my qualifier. I want to be minus 32 with at least 2 Albies going into the weekend round, and that's going to put me somewhere in the top 3 to 5 in tiebreakers. And that's where you want to be. You want to be up there, your tiebreakers, and that's why I get into weekend rounds. Friday night at midnight, I will be on, and I will be in one of the first brackets out there because when you get in one of those first brackets and you come in and you look at it, it instantly fills up and you instantly know where you came in as far as tiebreakers. You know that you came in 23rd, or you came in 30, you came in first, you came in 98. And so you have a really good understanding of what you're going to have to shoot in order to be ahead of. You can look at the people at the top and see what they shot, and you can see where you're at, and you get a pretty good understanding of where you need to be. It's not that somebody down below couldn't come up and fire off a massive round. Every single person in this bracket could come out in the weekend, because if you look at the scores, everybody here can come out in the weekend round and pop out a monster score. So just because you're up in tiebreakers up at the top does not mean anything. Even if you shoot a good round, somebody could pop up a monster score. But knowing where you're at as far as tiebreakers and getting into a bracket early, I prefer to get into a bracket really early when they fill up instantaneously. All right, let's see where we're at here. I think how many people do we still that have not played? Quite a few, I think. What would be a good score at 15? So what did they shoot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the front. So they were on the 28 track. So that's another person up there so 15 at 23, is that the deal? 15 at 23, 15 at 21, 12 at 21. So we've got some people down here. Let's see how many people got 9 at 15. There's a 30 on track, another 9 at 15. There's another 30 on track. There's some more 28s coming up the rank. So looking at these people that are down here at these 26s, there are some of these people down here like Daniel D. I wouldn't plan on being in the weekend round. I really think that there's going to be several of these people that are at 26 that aren't going to make it. So when people go, well, really the minimum should be minus 13. The minimum score isn't going to make you into this weekend round unless you've got some tiebreakers in this bracket. In some brackets, yeah, that's not going to be the case. But if you're playing against people that have the same exact stuff as you, it's going to be tight. All right, that was the opening round practice. Thanks for watching.